This is where we're doing a double review. Yes, a double review, because we've got two Hammond collection figures. The Hammond collection Therizinosaurus, and over on the right here, the Hammond collection Giganotosaurus. Got both these guys at a Target a couple of weeks back. I've been meaning to review these guys for a little bit, but I've just been caught up with other stuff, and I wanted to do these reviews yesterday, but the fucking camera was out of battery, so I wasn't able to actually record. Which sucks, because that would have been a perfect time to record, but anyways. I'm going to start with our good old buddy, the Therizinosaurus over here, who is very nicely detailed. This figure is about as what I was expecting for a Hammond collection figure. Very well done. The biggest Hammond collection figure, I believe, the Giganotosaurus is larger than it, but it was the biggest one I bought at the time. This was the one I was specifically looking for when I went to Target that day, but there was only one of them left, so I nabbed it before anyone else could. By contrast, there were like a couple of Gigas left, so I could have gotten that guy some other day. Articulation-wise, of course, it's a Hammond collection figure, so it's going to be very articulated. The neck is on a ball joint. Can swivel back and forth, can sort of be posed around. The head is on a swivel joint. You can make him look really far down. You can't really make him look any further up than this. The jaw, of course, can be opened. Is the tongue able to be moved? I can't tell without... No, it appears to be molded down there. The arms are on ball joints. Multiple ball joints. There's one in the shoulder. There's one down here at like the elbow. The hand, I believe, is also kind of. The claws are actually on ball joints, which is impressive. A really impressive range of motion these guys have, which of course also makes it difficult to actually stand the figure up, because it tends to topple over, because the feet don't like to stay in place, because the legs are also... I don't know if these are ball jointed, but the down here is ball joint, and I believe a ball joint down there. The tail is kind of articulated. It's... not really, actually. But overall, I think this is a pretty cool figure, and just because I want to do some comparisons, we're going to bring out, you just heard him, the much older Dominion Therizinosaurus from much earlier into the toy line. This is, like, I think the first figure we got of the Dominion Therizinosaurus. They're actually roughly the same size. This one is a bit shorter, but they're about lengthwise, they're nearly the same length. Obviously, the Hammond collection version is more articulated than this guy, and this was already, in my opinion, a pretty good figure. And the Hammond collection version doesn't have any sound gimmicks. But to be fair, this thing is super volatile. When I was picking this guy up to bring him over so I could compare the two, he just kept roaring at me. So yeah, but you know, Therizinosaurus is my favorite dinosaur, so of course I'm going to be very biased towards it, and I loved the design from the movie, even if it isn't the most accurate out there. So, of course I was going to pick up the Hammond Collection Therizinosaurus when I figured out that it was made. However, to my surprise, I actually kind of think I like the Giga a little bit better. We're going to bring him out here. He's a beast. He's huge. I think he, maybe aside from the Brachiosaurus, which I don't own, may be the largest Hammond Collection figure they've done. But he is a big boy, just a big fella. Articulation for this guy, this part of the neck isn't on any sort of joint. This part, well, it moves, just a bit stiff. I haven't actually been messing around with these guys so much, so that could explain why it's so stiff. The jaw can open, and in fact, you can actually open both parts of it. And on him, the tongue is articulate, so you can have him doing that bleh thing. Even if dinosaur tongues probably couldn't do that. But you can have him wide mouth roaring like this. Or you can just sort of have him snarling like that sort of motion. Or you can have him doing this, which kind of looks like he's got his mouth open because someone's going to brush his teeth. The arms are on ball joints. Again, pretty stiff ones because I haven't really been messing around with him so much. I don't know why this guy's so stiff compared to the Therizinosaurus, because he was much less difficult to articulate, but arms are on ball joints, the legs are on a couple of ball joints, but he's much sturdier, and I think that's just because of how big his feetsies are. He's just, in general, a lot sturdier. He can stand up far better. And the tail, well, this part of the tail isn't really articulate, but this part back here can be posed a little bit, which I like. And this part feels a little rubbery, like it's been rubberized, which is, it's cool. I like it. But yeah, so a very nice representation of the Dominion Giganotosaurus, which also isn't the most accurate, but I actually have found myself liking the design quite a bit. And for comparison's sake, I have the two figures I own of the Dominion Giganotosaurus. First, we have the Mini, which, yeah, obviously there's not going to be much of a comparison size-wise there, but then I also have, oh Jesus, he is heavy, the Super Colossal, which is huge. It's a huge figure, just absolutely enormous, and I love it. I loved this figure. This figure was pretty good in my opinion. I do love the Super Colossals, but in terms of detail, of course, the Hammond collection version back there is going to win out. So overall, I think these are both really good figures. I think these are both really good additions to the Hammond collection. I'm very glad these were added to it, because I was a little worried when I first saw the Hammond collection they were just going to do figures from, like, the first Jurassic Park and maybe a few from the sequels, but they have really been very good about diversifying the group without adding too many one-offs that I personally don't mind when Mattel does little one-off figures that aren't from the movies, but I know why some people do. But overall, I really do like these two, and if you are interested in getting any of the Hammond collection figures, I would recommend these two a hell of a lot.